I know we're good. We're on?
We're good.
Whew. Wow. What's today?
It's Festool Friday.
Oh, I gotta work. Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's Festool Live. It's 12 noon, right? Boy, I gotta change that clock. Okay. So what time is it from your neck of the woods? I know there's a lot of people it's probably 6 o'clock over there in Europe. Tell us where you're from today, but also what time it is, okay? Because I know some people are in Australia. I like to know the time when they're watching this, so I can say, "Hey, happy morning," or "happy afternoon," or whatever. Okay, hey, so let's introduce the room. We got a big day today, and starting with big day, we got Big D over here.
Hey, everybody.
We have Chris, the unit Cybert, on the camera.
Woo.
We have Brent online. Thanks again, Brent. You're awesome. Minnie. She's right there. She's our GPS, geography specialist. Tell us where you're from, and she'll write it on the board. And right there, we got the Sparky. Check out Sparky. Sparky? Whoop, 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 whoop. You want to talk about mellow?
Mellow yellow, baby.
He's as mellow as me. So happy Festool Friday, everybody. Okay, so I kind of know about the tools, but I want to make sure you guys know also about the promotions. Hey, if you live here in the U.S. or you live in Canada and you're a citizen, make sure you go to the festoolusa.com website or the Festool Canada website. And guess what? Hit that, what is it? Is a big banner on there?
Big banner.
Hey, do you have the cool little thing? Is it to my left here?
Yep.
How's that? And we are running a sweepstakes now until July 12th. All right? And click the link and finish a quick form. And it's to promote my Festool. Please register that. Okay? Please sign up because guess what? You could track all your tools on there. You can register your tools on there. And it's just going to evolve to this great website. It's your website that we've created for you. Okay? But the sweepstakes includes, how many are we giving away? Oh, 5 T18 drills. So make sure you sign up so we can draw the right names and get you guys a free T18 drill. How's that? That sound okay, Minnie? Yeah. Okay, I remembered everything, Big D?
Sounds
okay,
good.
I'm getting rid of this paper. All right, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about cutting crown molding. All right, now, this is episode number 62. Mike, is it 62 already?
Yep.
Holy macanoli. All right, so a lot of people have been asking about cutting crown molding or with the Kapex. Okay, but there's a couple accessories you need for this. And I'm going to cover the crown stops today and the setup and how pathetically easy they are. But you also need, with the crown stops, you need the extensions, which are these right here. So when I set this up yesterday, I was thinking, oh man, I'll have it all set up and we'll just cut some crown. But you know what? I want to show you how easy the setup is of the crown stops. Okay, so follow me over here, Chris. Let's get started. Okay, so here's the directions. Look at the directions for setting up the crown stops. By the way, we have videos that we created already on how to set these up. Okay, but when I was first setting this, I always like to give you guys tips and tricks on stuff. Okay, is I didn't understand this first schematic right here. What you have to do, and the crown stops are really easy. I'm just going to take them off right here. And actually in transportation, you'll see where they actually hold the leg here when you put them into the holding frame for it. Okay, but when I take this off, I want to show you this two pieces. This is your crown stop. Okay, but the way the crown stop, you'll see in a few minutes, mounts to, and I'm going to lift this up, Chris. I'm sorry, I'm in your way. Mounts to your extension. There's 2 nuts that go into these T's right here and 2 different knobs or screws, okay? But what I didn't realize, and I didn't study the schematic right away, and I want to make sure you see this, okay, is this pencil. See it? We got to zoom in on that? Okay. What you need to do is you need to take these 4 nuts and bolts off. But what you should always do is make a mark right here to where you can put your leg and bracket back on once you slide those 2 nuts to lock the stop in. Okay, I'm not going to cover anything else because for me, that was the eye opener when I set it up on the other side. I didn't make a mark and I had to fiddle faddle because I had my extensions dialed in perfect. And then I had to redial them in. So, hopefully you understand that. That's the crown stops. Now, let's take this and bring it over here. And I'm going to set it right up here on the Kapex. Now, the beauty of this is, see the V that goes right in there? This, Chris, can we come in so we can see this? See this right here? It locks right in just like that underneath. And it's super stable. Now, also, you got to remember here that when you set this up, okay, I never align this with this, especially when you're cutting long moldings. I think I covered that in the Kapex Essentials one we did on Festool Live. Because if you have a crown in your molding, not crown molding, but a crown in your molding, this part over here, if it's perfectly in line in here, will give you a sprung cut. You don't want that. Okay, so we're all set. I leveled these out yesterday. All right, now, there's two knobs under here. And I'm going to bring it out here in a minute. Let me just lock that in. I want to bring it a little forward, a little bit more, not too much. Okay, and I'm going to unlock these knobs, and I'm going to take it, and you're going to see where it swivels up. Out, I should say. Now, I'm not going to tighten them fully because I want to set up the crown stops. The next part I'm going to put on is this, and I want you to see, I'm going to loosen this knob here, all right? And you can see where this moves in and out. I want you to see these two tabs. Those two tabs are what go in there. But when I put this in, I always take these two tabs here, I align it, and it slides right in. Now, I could set this up. If I have a long piece of crown, I could set this up, and I'm going to talk about doing this. Okay, I can set it up. You see how it stops it from going forward? Okay, and there's a way of setting this up. I'm going to show you a really, really pathetically easy way of doing this. Okay, so those are the crown stops, and I'll show you what they're for in a minute. But let's talk about crown. This is crown molding. All right, and there's a little bit to this. Big D, do you have that schematic up?
I sure do.
For me? Because I've always gone by this schematic. Big D just made it perfect for us. He put a little green in there. You got it? Where is it? To my left?
Yep.
Okay, so if you look at that, this is crown molding, and this is how it's up on the wall. Say, this is my wall, and you'll see it, and that's my ceiling. Now, this is a 3852, and you'll see that all the time. If you go, what do you mean 3852? The way I've always been taught is this here is the spring angle. It springs to the wall because that's how it goes. This little scotia here is at the bottom, and this goes to the ceiling. This is going to describe upside down and backwards in a few minutes. Okay, so that's your spring angle, and this is 38 here, and up top is 52. The corner, if you see it in the schematic, is 90, obviously, right? Well, you would hope. Okay, so hang on, Minnie. What is 52 plus 38? 90. Oh my God, is she good at this stuff? Okay, and by the way, those aren't metric degrees. I'm just kidding. Okay, so that is what is known as a 3852 molding or crown. Okay, now to cut this, there's two ways of cutting this. And I used to cut it flat, okay, because I have a tough time saying this, but I still call them chop saws, but my slide compound miter saw back in Fort Lauderdale, I would always cut flat because I didn't have a tall fence, and I didn't want to make a tall fence for it. Okay, so I would cut it flat. Now, here's the thing I want to make sure. If my corner is perfectly 90, okay, I had to set my saw at 31.6 on the miter and 33.9 on my bevel. And I would have to flip-flop it back and forth. Okay, but I could do this. I could lock it down with no movement as I was cutting that compound angle. Now, in doing so, you have to, and I have it around here somewhere. Oh, I guess I'm prepared, but not as prepared as I should be. Oh, nope. I have another piece of paper found somewhere in my notes. I probably have it up here, right, Chris? On my board. I do. Okay, when you're cutting flat, I always had one of these near my chop saw. because I would measure that up top, okay, when I was doing a cabinet wrap, okay? And if it wasn't 90 degrees, see, there's your 31.6, and there's your 33.9, right? Okay? Guess what? I would have to adjust that on my saw. So say it was 89 degrees when I walked off the top of that measurement. Then I would go to my chart here and go 32.07. I can't even see point 0.1 and 34.2. See how confusing it can get cutting on flat? So what I'm going to show you today is how, and that's why you have crown stops, how to nest crown. Okay? That's the other one. Flat or nesting. Okay? I think I covered that sufficiently. Okay, now, when we cut this today, okay, I look at that upside corner, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's how it's hung on the wall. I need to put this flat upside down. See how now I've turned it upside down, because I'm going to cut this corner, and I'm going to cut this corner, and it's going to go together. All right? But here's the situation, and Chris, come in here so you can see this. See this right here? See how the flat's there and the flat's there? Okay, that's what you want when you set up. Okay? But here's the problem. What if I'm cutting a really small part? Look in between here and here. That's how what we call creating a nest, because sometimes I'll cut returns, or if I'm doing a column wrap, those are really small pieces. These are hanging out here and I can't go any further in. So we have to make what is known as a cut board, or that's what I call it. Okay, a nesting board. And that can get confusing sometimes, and I'll show you why. Okay, when you get the crown stops, you get this piece of paper in with the crown stops. See it? You can make your own nesting board. I know some people who just make a piece of plywood across and they don't make it fancy like this, but they can't read their scale here. The reason this has indents like this is so you can read your scale. Okay, guess what we do at Festool? We sell you one of these if you don't want to make your own template. What I've done over the years since we've had this, because here's the one you get when you buy it from somebody, you have this little notch in here. That helps you align it. But guess what I do? I took this as my template, and I think the week I got my first template, I think I made 50 of these. Because if I'm doing a job, I save this for that particular size crown. Okay? So hear me out and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. What I did this morning is I laid a center line out because I want to show you how to make your cut board. Okay? So I'm going to leave that right there. Well, actually, let's set it up. So it's you can see what I'm going to show you is a really easy way. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece of crown upside down. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to take my cut board. I'm going to put it in here like this. I'm going to take my laser, and this is the beauty of the laser. I can get it right in the middle of where I want it. Okay, now here's where I have found a trick over the years. Actually, I'm going to get a better piece of crown because that's got a little gunk on it. They put too much primer on this stuff. Okay, let me come in here. If I take the flat and I bring in my board like this, okay, like this, and then I bring this in like this, and I tighten it. I'm going to lock it with a clamp in a minute. I'm kind of fiddle-faddling it with it, right? Okay, and then I go, it's a back and forth. I'll show you something really easy I learned. I always cut a small piece off like this, and I take a measurement, okay? This is going to be my wall, and that's my ceiling. I'm going to take it and put my flat and flat, just like this. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to scribe a line. I did already. See that? Okay, yep. Now, here's something I'm going to show you. This is my run. The distance from here to here is known as my run. Okay, I am not, if the schematic you have from your molding dealer shows you the run, that's not the true run you need to do this setup rip I'm going to show you. What I'm doing is I'm measuring from here to here for my run. Okay, see? That's my rise. That's my rise. I'm measuring from the outside to the wall. Okay, so if I take that and I make my measurement, which I did yesterday, from there to there, it's 73 millimeters, or 2 and 7/8. I had to convert from metric, but I made a rip at 2 and 7/8 with my track saw at 73 millimeter, and look how much easier this is. Now, see this one here? This is the one I did with this cherry crown. I measured this one at 65. Okay, because that was my run on that one to the outside lip of the molding. I can't stress that enough. Somebody showed me that quite a few years ago, and I was like blown away. I ripped that piece, 73, and look how much easier it is now. I don't even need this in here. I know that's going to be flat to flat. So I take it like this, and the only thing I got to really do is what? Get my center line there. I bring this in. Okay, I always make sure that crown stop's back there because I don't want that in the way. I'm no longer really using this part of it. I'm using this part of it to hold it in line like this. Okay, nice and easy, and I'm going to lock it underneath. Okay, both screws, because you don't want this rotating on you. And then I'm going to take this one in. I'm still in the center, and I'll bring it in just like this and lock it underneath. Okay, whew, good. Now I'm going to take a couple of clamps I have set up over here. Let me get that off. Okay, and now I have this part here underneath to lock it in. And look how nice that is. Easy. If it's we drilled these out because if it's a wider crown, you can actually go through the hole. And I'm going to make sure it's nice and tight. Nice and tight. Make sure it's locked in. There we go. I'm going to come over here and grab the other clamp. Whoopsie. And clamp it. Whew. And there we go. Now, if I just take that out, I'm going to set this over here, upside down and backwards. Look, flat and flat. See how that works, gang? Absolutely perfect. And now, if I got to cut small pieces, I'm cutting it here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my board because this will help you, to really help you. I'm going to make sure I'm nice and stable. Okay, so we're good. I'm going to check my bevel. I always do that. I'm exactly at 0. I'm exactly at 0. I'm locked down. Let's make my cut board. So there's one. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to look, and I can see my 45 because of the way this is recessed. I'm going to make my chop there. If I have to do a round wrap of that crown or an octagonal wrap, I would cut a 22.5 as well. Follow me? You could do anything with this now that you get your board set up. And I'm going to check on 45 on this one. I am. I'm going to cut that now. How's the audio, Derek? Good?
Sounds good.
Okay. That's how you set up your nest. It's that easy. And hopefully this tip here will help you, and you can... It helped me understand crown molding a little bit better. Okay, where the rise was, where the run was. And that little schematic that Derek threw up there, that 3852, I've used that for years showing people. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut an outside angle, okay? Exterior angle. Now, in the back here, you have this. This is called the miter fast, all right? And what's nice about this, it opens up. And if I was measuring an inside angle, I could measure it like that, take it over, and use the line right here, the laser, to line it up. Okay, but I'm going to use this differently. I'm going to take this, and I think I've shown this before. I'm going to take the legs. You see that little bump right there? I'm going to take it and move it out like this. And what I'm going to do is, on the new sys wall, I'm going to jump up here and take a quick measurement. Now, do I know that because I built this cabinet, okay, and installed? I know that's exactly 45. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around. I'm going to extend those legs on there like this. This is how nice this is. Okay, just like this, and I lock it in, and then I'll take it down. Now, this is where I practiced yesterday that I didn't fall, and I think I've done a pretty good job. I'm in? Okay, good. So now I could take it over here, and if it isn't exactly 45, I can line it up exactly where I need it. Okay? So there you go. But if you look, see that? See the line? It's not bad. I'm at 45. If I needed to tweak it, I could, but I could take it over here and get my other what? Complementary angle, which is the exact division. This is an angle divider, and it stores right in the back of your Kapex. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you understood what that was for. Don't just assume that that's 90, even though you built it. It could be off just a hair. And if I was taking that crown and running it, which I'm going to eventually, into the wall, I want to make sure that that doesn't diverge out toward the wall, because I could break that corner as I pushed it in. The more you can get accurate, the better when you're installing. Okay, so we understand that and that. Hey, you know what? Let's cut a piece of crown. So I got a couple of offcuts. I don't want that one that had all that primer on there. Okay, so let's cut an outside. Now, the one thing I want to mention to you that I think is very important, okay, is I got this on here so it's not going to push forward, but I don't want it to lift at all, because that your crown may have it, maybe a long piece, and maybe it's got some torque to it. So here's the beauty, and I know a lot of you pros out there have never used the hold down for crown, okay, but because you can't get your clamp, and it's not a lot of pressure, but you can't get your clamp on that little fillet, that little reveal right there. Well, this is the beauty of this clamp. You see the flat and the flat there? Check this out. I'm going to put it in on this side because I'm going to cut this side first. Okay? And I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to bring it over. Okay? And lock it in. Now, I'm going to take that, and you see how I can get that right in there like that? I'm going to get a little holding power in there. Okay? So, that's what it's for. Everybody got that? Okay? Cool. So I'm going to move it in a little. Okay, you know what? I'm going to get a longer piece of crown just because I can. Give me a second so I can cut that for you. I want you to see how cool this clamp is, everybody. I'm going to bring it right in. Got it? Bring it right in. Okay, good. And use that clamp. Look. See that right there? I'm going to bring it in so it holds it right to it. Okay, so I get a really nice cut. So I'm just going to take that. Good. So there's my first cut. Now what I want to do, I'll just take that, throw it off this side. What I want to do, I may use that in a minute or two. I need to cut the other end, which I'm using this long piece so you can see it, but I need to move my clamp so you can see how this works. Now I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to bring it in at 45. Okay, and let's make the cut. And I'm going to bring that in so you can see how that actually holds right in there, nice and tight, right in there to make the cut. Okay, now what I'm going to do, because I want to show you a quick glue up process on how that actually goes together, I'm just going to come over here, bring it at 90, and I'm going to cut a couple small pieces. And I'm going to throw that right over there. I'm going to bring this to this end. So as you can see, this is a really quick setup. Okay, so come on over here, Chris. And what I'm going to show you is I've always seen people go like this when they're building small pieces. They go like this, and they're always like, how does this go together? That's not right. Okay? It actually is right. But what's happening, especially if you're doing a small return on a piece, which returns it into the wall, but it's really small, it's hard to balance, and you want to assemble it first before getting it up there, okay? This is tough to do like this. Look, this is really tough to do until you make one of these. This is a jig I've always made. It's at exactly right angle. And I relief it in here so that point sticks right in there. And what I'm going to do is I use CA glue for everything, including my dentures. Okay, whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so I put a little accelerator on there, and so if it's assembled and you're putting it up, it's so much easier. And I think later this year we're going to do a crown cap on a bookcase so I can show you how to build that. That's really fun to do. It makes installing cabinetry or furniture or built-in so much easier. So when I bring this in, I bring it right into that right angle, and see if I get this on camera. And I can bring it Oopsie. You don't have much time with the accelerator, everybody. And I'm going to bring it right in like this. And there's your... Make sure your finger isn't there because that'll stick, but there's your crown molding. Okay, and there's your return to the wall. All right?
Beautiful.
So I thought I'd show you guys that. Cutting crowns, some basics. Remember 3852 spring angle. Now you have to measure that because there's sometimes when you go to the big boxes, there's a lot of 45. It adds up to 90. But if you understand where to put the flats on there, how to measure your run to the outside of the lip of the molding, and it makes setup really easy. You really don't need to know the spring angle, do you? Because you've created a nest. You need to know the spring angle when what? When you're cutting flat. Okay? So, I think I covered everything. Big D, you think I got everything?
I think we're good.
I think we're good. Don't forget about the miter fast. It stores right on the back of your Kapex. We're going to do a hot tip on that this afternoon. Okay, so, wow, look at all of that, Minnie. How's the other side look? Oh, boy. Okay, so, that's, wow, just like I said, 25 minutes. That's a wrap, and how we always wrap it up is I always tell everybody where you're from. So hang in there because we have so many people that keep coming back. Like, what? Judah and Selah.
Yep. Oh, they look forward to it every week.
From Plainfield, Indiana. Okay. Homestead, Sweden. Paris, Tennessee. There's a Paris in Tennessee? Woo! Is there an Eiffel Tower there? Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so Ian, you're the man from East Yorkshire, I believe. Yep. Good to see you, Mr. Harrison. Downers Grove, Illinois. Lucerne, Switzerland, you're always there, just like Chris from Malta is. Gordon from Edinburgh, Scotland. Estonia. Hey! Delaware. Okay, Wake Forest, North Carolina. Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Berlin, Germany. Kurt from Rochester, Michigan. St. Louis, Missouri. Tom and Kelly, you're back from Tennessee. Frederick, Maryland. Evergreen, Colorado. Whitestone, New York, you're always there. Cincinnati, Ohio. We have Pine Brook, New Jersey, Raleigh, North Carolina, Charleston, West Virginia, Sweden, Phoenix, Arizona, Quartz Hill, California, Matthias from Sweden, Fenton, Michigan, Dawn from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Montreal, Dorset, England, oh boy, Krugersdorp, South Africa, India, Downers Grove, Illinois. Mark from the Netherlands. Wolfsburg, Germany. Eden, New York. Greeley, Colorado. Schaumburg, Illinois. South Carolina. Southern California. Tampa, Florida. Walter from Roermond, the Netherlands. Tacoma, Washington. Mechanicsville, Virginia. You're there again. Jolarvi, Finland. Belgium. Raymond, Maine. Woo! Winchester, Virginia. Frank. How you doing, Frank? From Columbus, Ohio. Adam, Union, Maine. Awesome.
Yes, there is an Eiffel Tower.
There is? Is there really?
Yes, that is what Pete Todd tells us.
Hi, P. Todd. Salt Lake City, Utah. Boucherville, Quebec. Warm, Batavia, Ohio. Warren at Batavia. That's funny. La Punta, California. Chicago, Illinois, Astoria, New York, Bloomington, Indiana, Hampstead, North Carolina, Prattsville, Alabama, Rebos, Mass. Oh, that's a good one. Hsinchu, Taiwan, Jersey, Kingsman, Arizona, Louisville, Kentucky. Wolfgang, how you doing from Vienna, Austria? Melford, Mass. Houston, Texas. Cyprus, is that the island of Cyprus? Yep. That is so freaking cool. Cyprus. I've never been to Cyprus. I want to go there. We have John Carrington. I want to give a shout out to John. Also, Plano, Texas. Pieter from South Africa. Nanambo, British Columbia. Brazil, Rochester, New York. Long Beach, California. Poland, Annapolis, Maryland. Okay, we have people. It is now 12. I'm going to round it. 12:30 here in Lebanon, Indiana. We have people 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 9 a.m., 9:30 India p.m., 6 p.m. South Africa, Malta, how are you? 5 p.m. Dorset, England, Noon, of course, as we started. 10 point New Mexico, 6 p.m. Sweden, 5 p.m. Scottish borders, 5 p.m. Great Britain, 2 a.m. Melbourne, Australia. It's 2 a.m. Is that 2 a.m. tomorrow?
And it's Melbourne.
Melbourne. Okay. Berlin. Lausanne. Hey, we know everybody over, most people over there. And okay, so we are good.
We have a request to ask you to demonstrate how you start the cut with the Kapex. You're starting the cut at the top first, then went to the bottom. Does it make a difference?
It doesn't. Some people say it does. I've never found a difference between either or.
I don't have a mic.
That's so the difference was, where did you start the cut? I know a lot of people who do a scoring cut. Yes, I started at the top and then I come down and push it in. I can come in like this and make the cut as well, but I always, if you notice, I always stop at the end of the cut. There's sometimes I've done it like this, where I've come in and then come in. Okay, just whatever your personal preference is. I've never noticed. It's kind of like cutting the splinter guard on the TS FS tracks, FS guide rail. A lot of people say you should cut it on something solid first and then cut it up. No, it doesn't matter. They're still the same excellent quality cut. I just know when I'm cutting something very large on the flat, I always pull it out and push it in. Okay, so that's the right way. Always let it stop at the very bottom. And yes, I know on one of those pieces I didn't let it stop at the bottom, and I apologize. But always think safety first, please. Okay, so there you go. I think that's it for today. Hopefully I called everything out. Don't forget to go and sign up for the sweepstakes for that T18E, US and Canada only. So I think I covered everything. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you. We're here next week again. Okay. And then it's Las Vegas, everybody, AWFS. So, woo! Minnie and I will be out there saying hi to everybody a week. And Brent will all be there at the booth in Las Vegas at AWFS. Don't forget, come say hi to us, please. We're looking forward to it. Okay, good. Sparky, you have anything to say?
It's a long day.
Woo! Sparky! Okay, everybody. Once again, I always end it like this. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. We are so glad to be back doing Festool Live again. We took a week off here and there. We appreciate you always returning to watch what we have to show you. It's a pure pleasure for us. Hopefully everybody's staying safe out there. Okay? Please, because we want to keep doing this with you. Thank you. I'll say it again. We love you. Everybody, have a great weekend. We're out of here. Festool Live.